you think that the high corn diet in cattle or any other animal creates too much omega-6 fats?
You're
Right.
disrupting the metabolic pathway so you don't store fat.
Right.
Acidosis is a different pathway, but what you're doing is you're disrupting the normal physiology of the animal. I don't know about the change in fat composition, but I know that it's harmful for the gut pH.
Okay.
It's kind of like what people are figuring out now is it's my personal belief that carbohydrates have caused more heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes than fat ever did. Well, fat just doesn't cause diabetes.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that's chapter 1 in my book.
And you want to talk about corn being a killer?
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup is probably the #1 driving force in this country for diabetes.
Absolutely. It's everywhere. It's insane.
And if you get into the deeper philosophy of capitalism and market economies, the milk and corn are kind of connected in that industry wants cheap inputs. Manufacturing industry wants cheap inputs into manufactured food. So we want cheap milk or cheap milk powder or cheap whey powder
Yes.
to manufacture food that is highly processed. And both milk and corn are highly subsidized because people like General Mills and other places want cheap corn, and they want cheap high fructose corn syrup so they can make cheap food to feed you and I.
Exactly.
And the results is not healthy.
Exactly.
Michael Pollan,
Yes.
he talks about the only thing in a grocery store worth eating is on the outer rim where it's non-processed,
Right.
it's whole food. And one of his challenges, or it started as kind of a challenge and people have taken to an extreme, is, he said we should only eat things that have approximately five ingredients, and they should be whole ingredients that you recognize. And the scary thing today is, and I do this regularly, we don't buy very much pre-prepared or processed food, but almost every time sugar will be in the top 5, if not the top 3 ingredients in your
And
food.
sometimes it's disguised. It's not. It doesn't say sugar. It's a different word, and some people don't know what it is.
And a lot of times that sugar is high fructose corn syrup.
That's right. Yeah. CLAs in sheep milk. I've read that the CLAs are higher in sheep milk. Is that true? And can you talk about that?
The CLA is conjugated linoleic acid is not just higher in sheep, it's higher in sheep, cows, and goats when they're on pasture.
Okay.
That's for pastured animals. That always gets elevated. In sheep, it is higher than cows and goats, along with their other nutrients. Both fat and protein are almost twice as high in sheep, and the minerals are almost twice as high. And one of the ironic things that's actually in sheep milk that you don't find in cow, and you find very little in goat, is vitamin C.
I did not know that.
And one of the questions I've got today is, do you actually capture any of that in your cheese? When we make cheese, we condense everything in the milk down. So maybe sheep cheese has vitamin C, which would be really interesting. But
another person brought that up. I can't remember who it was, but they asked me, and they were talking about it, and I didn't know. But that's a great. That would be a good topic to look at. So that I'm writing a book about the health benefits of cheese, and of course I'm talking about good, high quality cheese, not the stuff you get in the can. And it is written for the public, not cheesemakers or scientists. And my goal is to invite people who have been really kind of anti-fat, invite them to try and enjoy cheese without guilt. Do you have any recommendations? What kind of message do you think the public needs to know about health in terms of cheese?